Welcome to Vista, California. We are just about an hour or so to the northeast of downtown San Diego at the California Training Facility for X Games 2022 as it plays host to BMX Street Final. Hello from inside the booth. I'm 𝗦𝗓𝗏𝗏. That's Chris Doyle. We've got Victoria Ireland out in the field. And, well, when it comes to BMX Street at the X Games, this thing has been contested 16 times, and you have to talk about the dominance of Garrett Reynolds. Why? Because he's medaled every time he's competed in this event.
Well, what can you say about Garrett Reynolds that hasn't already been said? He's got the tricks, he's got the creativity, he's got the consistency, all of the ingredients that are needed to bake up a big win here at X Games 2022. He's won this event 14 times. He's been at the top of the podium 14 times. He's going for number 15 today to tie Shaun White and get the most all-time gold medals. And he's done it in one discipline, Jimmy. So you talk about the dominance of a discipline in BMX, you talk about Garrett Reynolds in BMX Street.
He's done it time and time again. He's in some great company right now. He's tied with Dave Mirra, Jamie Bestwick, and Bob Burnquist. But again, as we mentioned, trying to chase that record and tie Shaun White now for most all-time X Games gold medals. But let's take a look at the start list here. Lots of other names to stand out. We talk about Lewis Mills coming off a win there at X Games 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗜𝗔𝗜 that we held earlier this year. But 10 riders in the field, and they're all going to have something to say about it out here tonight, Chris.
Keep your eye on Felix Prangenberg, a guy that was not in Japan for our X Games there. He was fighting a little bit of an injury, but he is definitely a threat for that podium. He's got all the same ingredients I was talking about before. He's clean, he's consistent, he's got all the tricks, and he's a lot of fun to watch.
Well, this course here, it's predominantly frequented by skateboarders, so it lends itself to the technical variety here. But we are ready to kick it off with an X Games rookie out of Wales. This is Jordan Godwin, who's going to get the party started here at X Games 22 in the BMX Street Final. We are underway.
Yeah, very excited to have Jordan out here. Kind of a last-minute invite, but he's going to show you why he was invited. He's puts out a lot of solid video parts, showing you that crooked grind to 360. Got the earphone in his mouth right now, Jimmy. There's that pedal grind showing you the manual, nice balance, crooked grind. Never easy to be the first guy to drop, but he's showing you that consistency right there.
Well, you see the two time clocks there. The top one, that is the jam session clock. The bottom one there under the name, that is the amount of time left in the run here. Jordan Godwin off to a pretty good start here, down to the final 10 seconds.
Yeah, and like you said, X Games rookie shooting that nose to tooth hanger. And there's that tail whip. It looked like it was opposite, but I know that's his natural way to kick a tail whip, just messing with the pedals a little bit.
I mean, we say this all the time. You come into this as a rookie, you have to be the first guy to go, and you're setting the bar right there. And Jordan Godwin has stepped up and risen to the occasion here.
Well, yeah, as the first guy, you really set the tone for how the rest of the contest is going to go. We're going to show that crank arm grind. Some people call it a pedal grind, however you want to call it. Straight into that crooked grind, 180 out, clean as you like. Get another look at this right here. Crooked just locking right into it. Solid 180 out.
So again, it's 10 athletes in the field. It is a 36-minute jam session. They are going to run in the order that you saw on the start list there. We talked about that individual run clock. You've got 45 seconds to put together a run. If you come off the bike, become detached for it, that ends your run. However, at 45 seconds, once that runs out, the buzzer goes and the next guy comes in. Speaking of the next guy, this is Murray out of California's Justin Spreet.
Justin Spreet already off and running. Captain Casual, always looks like he's just, you know, really calm and cool. Doesn't ever really look like he's trying. I think that's why he runs the mustache, so you can't see the grimace on his face, but always a pleasure to watch Justin Spreet do his thing.
The mustache is grimace camouflage is what you're going with.
Showing you the bar spin on the transition right there. That's opposite way for him. Check him out here. Up rail to turn down out. Showing you some of those jumping elements coming out of that rail double tire. Going over tooth hanger, bonking that tooth the other way. Opposite tooth, little foot jam.
And there's the buzzer, so Justin Spreet's got a solid first run. It's his second X Games appearance. We saw him in Minneapolis in 2019, where he had to settle for 5th place there as we take a look at some highlights.
Showing you that 180 crooked grind down the rail. Over tooth and trying to go back over the rail to bonk it on the other side of the toothpick and just had to settle for the nose bonk on that one.
So that'll slide him into that top spot for right now. You will not see scores as we go through this competition. I'll explain more on that in a second as we get set to bring in 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗓 here out of Massachusetts. This will be his 5th X Games appearance.
Showing you that up rail 180 out. 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗓 is another guy. He's got the tricks to really upset that podium. It's just a matter of putting it all together and showing you that line right there. Just with the balance, the grinds, bar spin into that ice pick.
In his 4 prior appearances, he does own a medal in this event. He got a silver in Minneapolis in 2019.
Bar spin into the crooked grind. It's just amazing. This stuff is so difficult. These guys make it look so easy, and they're just so casually getting it done. There's that up rail 180 bar coming out the hard way. Just hopping it out.
So with 3 riders deep, and we've had 3 complete runs thus far. Going back to the scoring thing that I was talking about, it's a live ranking. You won't see numbers next to the names. You'll just see the names slide around into a ranking on the leaderboard.
I like this ice pick grind. Putting it down to the manual. Check him out right here. Bar spin to ice pick grind. That's a nice link right there, Jimmy. Barring into that crooked grind. When I say crooked grind, that means they're on one side of the bike. One side of the bike, one peg. Other side of the bike, the other peg. Showing you that 180 bar out of that double peg.
So that will slide him into that number 2 spot for right now as we take a look at 𝗦𝗢𝗚𝗔𝗜 here out of Tucson, Arizona. Now, here's a guy that we predominantly see in park and dirt competitions. He owns 2 park gold medals. He owns a dirt gold medal, but lately he's been throwing his hat in the mix here in street competitions.
Well, and you're going to see a lot of, unfortunately slipping the pedals out of that wall ride to tail whip. And he's a guy, you're going to see a lot of park elements in his street run. Going up double peg, hard way 180. When I say hard way, that means he's pulling away from the rail. More difficult than going to the inside. Nice toothpick hanger, that's his opposite direction.
We saw 𝗦𝗢𝗚𝗔𝗜 in street here at the X Games 2021, where he finished in 6th place, coming down to the final couple seconds there. Can't put that one down.
Yeah, going for the hard way, 360 out of the double peg, and unfortunately just had to step out of the bike. But it's really good to see 𝗦𝗢𝗚𝗔𝗜 in a street contest like this, showing you that big wall ride to tail whip. Catches the pedals clean, but just cases just a little bit, and it just sends his feet right off the pedals.
So another thing too, we mentioned there's no scores next to the names. It's just a live ranking. It is also the better of your runs that count out here. So we'll probably get 3, possibly 4. We'll have to see how that jam session clock holds up as this competition moves forward. But right now, we bring you 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗓 out of Destrehan, Louisiana. He earned a street bronze medal at X Games Austin in 2016, a silver in 2021 real BMX, just outside the podium at X Games Chiba earlier this year.
Yeah, we just saw that bar spin to manual, to double peg, to hard way 360, right after 𝗦𝗢𝗚𝗔𝗜 had messed up on it. So just letting the judges know that he's got that trick, he's got it consistent. Going up double peg, that's on the opposite side of his bike. Looks like he wanted a little something more out of that. Going 180 toothpick over that rail. Back up the rail, hard way, 180 out. Just pulling it back around that 360. 𝗦𝗢𝗚𝗔𝗜 has so much pop. So fun to watch. Now, that was a good run, but I can tell just by his body language that he wants a little bit more out of that run. He had some good elements in there, but I know that 𝗦𝗢𝗚 has a lot more up his sleeve.
Well, he's going to get a couple of chances at it out here tonight, but he's off to a great start here in round number 1 as we take another look.
Here you saw him go over toothpick. Toothpick to feeble 360 out. Doing that on the opposite side of his bike. Grinding up hard way 180 out. Pulling it around for a 360. I know we want maybe a little bit more out of that. Maybe throw the bars in there.
That's going to be good enough to put him in that number 2 spot. So he'll bump 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗓 down. He'll slide him in just behind Justin Spreed. So just under 28.5 minutes to go here. It's Justin Spreed, 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗓, and 𝗦𝗢𝗓 as we get set to bring in Felix Prangenberg for his first attempt right here. He has a total of 3 X Games medals. He got a BMX Street Silver at X Games Shanghai in 2019. And right here last year,
Jimmy, that was pegs up, hard way, 360 tail whip out of that rail. Wow, that was one heck of a way to start your run. 𝗦𝗢𝗔𝗚𝗔 is on one right now.
Look at how much he's gotten done. He still has over 24 seconds left.
And he's a guy you got to watch. He switches his feet a lot. He turns in the other direction. He does things on both sides of the bike. He makes my job very difficult, but that was all with his opposite foot forward. The judges will take note of that. Absolutely incredible riding. That huge 360 to 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗜𝗔 to the wedge. To 180.
Crazy line.
Wow. Jimmy, I think he's definitely going to upset that top 3, maybe #1 spot. That was such a clean run from Mr. 𝗦𝗢𝗔𝗚𝗔 right there. Wow, getting me tongue-tied and twisted. Up rail, hard way, 360 tail whip out. Looking like he's coming out of a launch ramp. 180 look back, turning in his opposite direction over the rail. I don't know how he did all of that without messing up. I love this right here, just reverting back over. 180 turn down back. Opposite 360 to end things out, but slipped the pedal, but I don't think that's really gonna matter here, Jimmy.
And 𝗦𝗢𝗔𝗚𝗔 finds himself in the top spot. So last year's silver medalist from this event sits in the #1 position as of right now. Again, it is best run that counts out here at BMX Street Final as we bring in San Diego native Chad Curley for his first attempt.
Uncharacteristic of Curley to mess up on that 180 tail up over the wedge. He's just gonna kind of be coasting. Oh, check him out here, fighting that nose wheelie. Always such a chance that you take when you do those nose wheelies mid-run. In fact, anytime you're balancing on the back wheel or the front wheel, you're just rolling the dice because that front wheel, that back wheel can always go down so easily and just really throw off the flow of your run. But check him out right there, reverting it back around with 180 tail whip. Coming in backwards and reverting a 180 tail back. Check him out, 540 down the stairs, has to step out the back yet again.
That's all right, we'll have a couple more chances out of here. He does own 5 medals in this event, with 2 of those being gold. So never count Chad Curley out.
He's coming out of that manual, check him out. Pops this manual to 180, so good right there. Clearing all of the stairs, maybe wanted to add a little bit more into that, not sure. It wasn't the run that Chad wanted, 180 bar up, pulling it back around with a tail whip. But like you said, he's got plenty more chances to make up for that.
Yeah, sometimes it's just the way these things unfold. It doesn't work out early on, and you'll see as the competition wears on, everyone just kind of settles into a groove, and guys start building on that, improving as we get deeper into the latter round of runs here. Coming down to the 25-minute mark here and counting down as we get set to take a look at Devin Smiley for the first time here on this course, Chris.
Devin Smiley, lots of balance, lots of control. Keep your eye on the subtleties, the little things that he does. Going up pegs, hard way 180 out, popping it nice. Looked like he grabbed the seat a little bit there. 180 on bar spin off, just put out a hammer edit for his longtime shoe sponsor, Edney's.
He's coming off of a silver medal performance at the last X Games contested BMX Street event. That was in Chiba, Japan, back in April of this year.
A double tire ride up. Look at this manual, keeping it going. To Smith, to nose, to bar. Just looks so casual, doesn't he, Jimmy?
Just makes it look too easy as he's linking up these combo lines here together, hanging on here for the final 4 seconds. And that is going to be a solid run there for Devin Smiley in his first outing.
It doesn't even look like he's breathing heavy. Like I said, lots of balance, lots of control. In that manual, to the Smith, to the nose, and to the bar. Just heading for this next hit, tail down into the wedge. Always a good showing from Devin Smiley. Sometimes it almost looks like it's hard for him to mess up.
So that'll slide him into the top 3. It'll put him in just behind 𝗦𝗢𝗔𝗚𝗔. So it's 𝗦𝗢𝗔𝗚𝗔, Devin Smiley, and Justin Spreetz. Well, we talked about this gentleman right here at the top of the show, Garrett Reynolds, but before we let him drop, let's learn a little bit more about him and this athlete profile.
I'm 𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗚𝗦. I'm 31 years old and I live in San Diego, California.
The greatest of all time at competition street riding.
I've been in pretty much every X Games event in the past 15 years.
He's been so extremely dominant.
Being one medal away from Shaun White's 15 gold medals, pretty hectic.
A perfect 100!
I grew up looking up to him, Dave Mirra, Jamie Bestwick. It's a huge honor to be involved with those action sport legacy names. I don't think I'm worthy almost.
Welcome X Games Chiba 2022.
Riding against Lewis and Chiba was awesome. Killed it that day.
Lewis Mills on his first X Games gold medal.
He deserved to win. It was definitely a high for me to see him that happy. I get just as much pleasure seeing one of my homies ride very well, just as like when I do well. Getting an invite to the X Games to me, I'm still like, damn, they still invite me? Like, sick.
Of course, we keep inviting you, Garrett, because every time you appear here, you end up on the podium, sir. But just, I mean, you heard in the sound bites right there. That's the guy he is. He's so humble. This isn't a contest to him. It's not pressure. It's just out there riding with his friends.
If he's faking the modesty, he's doing a really good job of it. Oh, check out that huge, nice long toothpick grind the bar out. Garrett Reynolds on course. From the bar to manual, where's he gonna go with it? Double tire, bar spin, the catch, bar spin out. These guys get me so tongue-tied and twisted, it's hard to keep up sometimes.
He's just so methodical and so dialed at what he does.
Just barring into that crank arm grind. We saw him mess up on that one in Chiba, too. He was going up rail, hard way, 180 downside tail whip. Unfortunately, missed the pedals a little bit.
And there's the last couple of seconds, so that'll do it for run at number 100 for Garrett Reynolds. Again, on that last performance in Chiba, he was on the podium yet again. He walked out of there with a bronze medal. And he won this event here last year in this same building.
So I'm coming out of that manual, double tire ride up the handrail. And this is where he messed up. Trying to go down. That's an opposite tail for him. Downside tail 180, just misses the pedals after grinding out of that rail. Huge feeble grind, a hard way 360 to flat. Good run, but we know that Garrett has more, and I don't think that's gonna overtake Mr. Felix Prangenberg right now.
So we're gonna see where that slides him in. That'll overtake Justin Spreed, so that'll put Garrett Reynolds in the number 3 position here. Before we get to our next rider, let's check in for the first time now with Victoria Arlen.
Hey guys, I'm right in the middle of all the action now. A friend and protege and teammate of Garrett is actually Lewis Mills, who's about to drop in, and he was speaking earlier in practice about the course, and he said he finds it a little technologically challenging, but he said that I'm not pinning my whole life on the hopes of winning. I'm just going to ride my hardest, and if I win, I win. If I don't, I don't. Now mind you, he won in Chiba, but either or, both of them are pretty happy regardless of who gets on the podium.
Well, he started off his X Games career in a great fashion because he earned a silver as a rookie at X Games Sydney in 2018, and as you mentioned, he took gold there in Chiba just a couple months ago.
Yeah, and Lewis Mills, he's a big guy. I mean, he's clocking in at about 6'2", 6'3", and unfortunately, I'm sorry, he's about 6 feet tall, but the bike's looking a little bit small for him. That's because the airline lost his bike that he normally rides, so he's kind of riding a replacement bike right now, so a little bit of an element to make things a little bit more difficult for him. And yeah, just not having the type of that he had before in Japan, but he's going to be back. He's got plenty of time to make up for that. All of these guys have time to climb up that leaderboard and start chasing Felix Prangenberg.
Still plenty of time left on the clock here. We're ticking down to about 19 minutes. Again, they will stay in this order, but it has time
to climb up that leaderboard and start chasing Felix Prangenberg.
Still plenty of time left on the clock here. We're ticking down to about 19 minutes. Again, they will stay in this order, but as time is on the clock, we keep going, and it is the best run that counts out here. Well, don't forget to grab your Pacifico for tonight's main event. Head to orderpacifico.com to shop local delivery and pickup. So we've completed round number 1 here at the BMX Street Final. It's 𝗦𝗢𝗔𝗓𝗔𝗡 sitting in that top spot for now. We've got plenty more still to come when we come back to the California Training Facility in X Games 2022.
I think 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗜𝗔 is like a super sick, you know what I mean, thing for X Games to be supporting and all that, because I feel like all of us kind of had to deal with that. Being in action sports, you're kind of like a rebel to everything and kind of make you feel out of place in a weird way and an easy way for people at school to talk crap about you or whatever. So I think it's like super fitting, and because I was always one of the kids kind of to get picked on at school. Whether it be height, or I don't play football, don't play basketball, I'm not doing what the cool kids do. There's always something to pick it and throw at you. So yeah, just keep your head up and keep shredded. Easy.
Well said, Chad Curley. Shred Hate, Choose Kindness is a bullying prevention program created by ESPN and X Games. Did you know that 1 out of every 5 students is bullied in the United States? We're aiming to change that grim statistic with the Shred Hate, Choose Kindness program. For more info, check out Disney.com/ChooseKindness. You hear Chad right there say, dude, Felix is crazy. And he's sitting in the top spot as of right now. We've completed 1 round of runs. We go back up to the top of the order after that first round. Felix 𝗦𝗢𝗔𝗓 sitting in that number 1 position, followed by Devin Smiley and Garrett Reynolds. That is your 1, 2, 3 for now, but we start it all over again as we bring back in Jordan Godwin. Remember, as we roll through this, it is the best run that counts here in the BMX Street Final.
Yeah, I think with the exception of Felix and Devin, no one really did the run that they really wanted to do. So it's going to be interesting how each rider picks things up as the contest progresses. Jordan Godwin just showing you that link right there.
So if you're just joining us, these runs are 45 seconds in length here. No scores. It's a live ranking here.
Yeah, so awesome to have Jordan out here. Recently watched him in the Honey video. Put out a solid video part, stomping that tail at this time. We saw him mess up on that in his first run. Going feeble to 180. That's a clean run for Mr. Jordan Godwin.
So he was in 7th pre-run there.
And he's a guy that's not used to big competitions like this. Showing that crank arm grind, keeping the manual up, just locks into this crooked grind right here. He kind of pulls it up into an ice pick right now. Check him out. And he pulls hard way, 180 out. Clean as you like. I never know if he's pulling up in an ice pick, if he counts that as an ice pick, or if that's just how he does to get spring loaded for that 180. And then there he is stomping that huge tail up over the wedge. Like I said before, awesome to see Jordan Godwin out here at the X Games. I've seen him so many times on my phone as I'm watching on social media or on YouTube, but awesome to see him here in person.
Well, that'll improve him 2 spots right there. He was in 7th pre-run. He now moves up to that number 5 position. We bring in Justin Spreed here. He was in the top 3, but he now finds himself just outside of podium contention right now in that number 4 spot.
I love that nice, long, opposite toothpick grind. Smithson looked so good, so casual. Tooth over the rail. You can hear the other riders in the background cheering everybody on. And over Tooth, down that rail. Barspin up and over the wedge. Don't sleep on Justin Spreed. He can ride trails, he can ride ramps. He is a well-rounded bike rider. Has a father that also rides BMX. So he's got BMX in his bloodline.
Yeah, he says riding trails is still his favorite BMX discipline.
Showing that nose to opposite double peg down the green rail right there. Just another guy that never really looks like he's trying too hard, always casual. And I gotta say, he's a really fun guy to talk to on the deck. Always laughing, always having a good time. Let's check him out right here. There's that over toothpick grind. Bar spin up and over the wedge. Nice style on that one. Double tire up, no footed can out. Kind of slipped the pedals a little bit there. Had to settle for the seat landing. But Justin Spreed's going to hang out in 4th place for now.
Yeah, he's just outside there looking in at the podium, and he's going to hang on to that spot for now. Just remember, best run that counts here. Still lots of time left on that clock as we are approaching the 16.5-minute mark here.
And
this is Matt Ray coming in for his 2nd attempt. He sits in that number 7 spot now.
Just so casual with that line right there. Just makes it look all so easy. Going up this rail. Huge opposite tail whip out of the rail, going up double peg grind, opposite tail whip out. Bar spin into Smith. Bar spin to ice pick grind. I'm getting tongue-tied and twisted yet again, Jimmy.
That was so smooth and so fluid. It happened so fast. Final 15 seconds here from Matt as he hangs on.
Yeah, he's got a solid run going here. Would love to see him squeeze in a few more things. From 180. 360 bar spin out of that 180, landing fakie down the stairs, and he ends it with a flare just to let people know he can do it.
So there you go, Matt Ray making a statement here in round number 2. We'll take a look at some replays here and see where this puts him in the overall rankings.
Going up double peg, huge opposite tail whip, stomping those pedals. I think sometimes these opposite tail whips look better than the rider's regular tail whips. Then 180 in, 360 bar spin, landing fakie. Clean as you like, Jimmy. Get another look at this huge opposite tail whip out of the double peg, up the rail, and then ending things out with a flare. The judges aren't necessarily too impressed with the flare, but he's just letting the people know that he's got it.
That is a small transition over there as well. So he too is going to bump up 2 spots here in this round. He was in 7th. He'll bump up into that number 5 spot now. Bumps Jordan Godwin down to that number 6 spot. So nicely done there by Matt Ray. Before we take a look at 𝗦𝗢𝗚𝗔 second outing here, let's check in one more time with Victoria.
Guys, I got a little fun fact for you about him. He's the only athlete scheduled to compete in both BMX Park and Street here at X Games 2022, and he's competed in Street once back in X Games 2021. He got 6th, and this is his 11th appearance at X Games.
Well, he currently finds himself in that number 8 spot right there, and like I was saying earlier, typically see him in park and dirt competitions, but just decided last year, hey, why not try my hand at Street?
Hey, why not? Because clearly he knows what he's doing. He's on a tear right now. I can't wait to see some of these highlights later on. He got that wall ride to tail. He absolutely stomped it out. He went opposite bar up and over the rail. Got a good link going here. He's been virtually flawless this entire run, Jimmy. It's going to be interesting to see where the judges place him because he does put a lot of jumping elements in with his street riding. Check him out right here. Going up and over the rail. Toothpick grind. There's that nose wheelie down. Kevin, he's such a diverse rider. He's an all-terrain vehicle. Check him out. Nose press 360 over that wedge. That's the only one of those you're going to see in today's competition. He's known for that. Then manual. Double peg up that rail and 180ing out hard way. When I say hard way, he's pulling away from that rail and he slides up in the 6th place, Jimmy.
So bumping up 2 spots seems to be the name of the game here in round number 2. So he was in 8th. He now finds himself in 6th place for now. We bring in Brock Rayford here. Brock now sits in that number 8 spot here with just under 13 minutes left to go, and has to hop off on that one.
Big Brock just had to step out of that hard way 360 out of that rail.
But he had a solid first run, but you said towards the end of that he definitely had more in the gas tank that he wanted to put into that first attempt.
Yeah, I know what Brock can do, and I know he's got a lot in the tank, and he's just kind of messing up on things that he typically doesn't mess up on.
So again, on that point, it is a best run format.
So yeah, he's got time just fighting through that one right there.
See him smiling.
Check him out, reverting it around for the tail whip, going to flat. That was a good line right there, but he messed up in the beginning, and the judges aren't going to forget that. He's done some really cool things, but you got to clean it up if you want to get into that top 3 spot.
Yeah, they are looking for absolute perfection out here today if it's going to put you on that X Games podium. Let's take another look here. Brock's 2nd attempt.
There's that bar spin to ice pick grind. Manual into this double peg, hard way 360 out. That's one of Brock's specialties, is being able to hard way 360 out of rails. You see his back tire just kind of dragging right there and able to fight through it and still get it done.
So he'll hang out down there in that number 8 spot for now. We'll see more of him in round number 3 as we get set to bring in our current leader, Felix Prangenberg. who put together quite an impressive first outing here on this California training facility course.
Well, what more can Felix do? That first run was so explosive. It looks like he's going to start things off the same way. Huge hard way 540 out of that double peg grind. Are you kidding me?
Did you see the pop that he had coming out of that?
Oh my goodness, he's just fighting through this right now, just pulling things you should not be able to pull first try.
So as I mentioned earlier, he silvered in this event last year. We didn't see him at X Games Chiba earlier this year. He had to sit that one out due to injury.
I love that 180 look back that he does. Check him out here, spin the win. Just steps out, unfortunate for Felix, but he's still in that first place position, and his first run was so good. That's going to be so difficult to beat. That's what everyone's chasing right now. It's Felix Prangenberg's first run, his first visit to the course, but check him out. Going up double peg, pulling hard weight, big 540, popping it nice and high, landing clean, pulling it around, then check this out. 360 to fakie, went nose press and pulled it back around, just fought through that fakie. Getting another look. Double peg up, hard weight, 540, so high out of that rail. It almost looks like he's going out of a launch ramp. Hard to believe he's coming out of a double peg grind.
So we're coming down to the 10-minute mark here. He is still your current leader, followed by 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗜𝗓 and Garrett Reynolds. Still lots of time left to go here in this jam session. Chad Curley right now had a rough go to start off that first run, finds himself down at the bottom of the pack. He's on for the next 45 seconds here.
Wow, check out this link right here.
This
is huge. That was one heck of a link right there, Jimmy. I mean, we got to go back and take a look at that one. That was a lot. He covered a lot of ground on one wheel. Check him out. Crooked to manual, double to over. Going 180. Chad Curley's on a tear, making his presence known right now. Turn that manual to 180, popping it nice and clean. Oh, he answers Kevin Peraza's nose press 360.
Can he hang on for this final 8 seconds here?
Taking a chance with that nose wheelie right there. That back wheel goes down and it can really throw you off.
So a huge improvement here in round number 2 for Chad Curley.
That was a great run from Chad Curley. It was unfortunate that that nose wheelie went down, but check him out. He covered so much ground. Nice manual. Going tooth over, that's his opposite toothpick. And this was a huge manual to 180, just popping it down the stairs. And there's that nose press to 360. I apologize, I said that Peraza was gonna be the only guy doing that, but it looks like Chad Curley's got it too. That was a solid run. It's going to be interesting to see how they penalize him for that back wheel going down on that nose wheelie.
Well, again, he was down at the very bottom of the pack. He was in 10th pre-run right there. That's good enough to be knocking on the door of podium contention, though, Chris. That's going to slide him all the way up into the number 4 position. A little bit Justin Spreet and Matt Ray down. But it's still Felix Prangenberg, 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗓, and Garrett Reynolds, your 1, 2, 3 as of now. Speaking of 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗓, he is due up next. Getting your silver medalist, the last contested BMX street event here at the X Games that was in Chiba, Japan earlier this year.
Hard way 180 out of that double peg grind, grabbing the back of the seat. 180 on, bar spin out. He's so casual. I mean, it looks like he's not even breathing heavy, not even breaking a sweat, just out here cruising, but he's getting so many technical tricks done. Double tire up to suicide no-hander out.
Okay.
Wow. He's got a lot of these old school, like, 90s jumping tricks that he likes to throw in. I think he just does it for me, Jimmy.
So coming down to the final 10 seconds here.
Opposite pegs up, 180 out. Pulling that back around for the 360 landing. Fakie. Impressive showing from 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗓, always. It'll be interesting to see if he steps it up in his last visit to the course. Because that run kind of mirrored his last run a little bit. Not as difficult elements, but always a pleasure to see Devin. Check him out, 180 on, bar spin out. Clean as you like, making it look easy. Going 180 over the rail, connecting with the double peg grind on the opposite side of the bike. I like this right here. Pulling it around with the 360 bar spin, landing back fakie, just utilizing the entire course, just taking it slow, taking his time, and getting all these technical tricks done.
So 2 solid performances here for Devin Smiley as we get set to look at Garrett Reynolds for attempt number 2. And again, talking about that record he's chasing out here, he owns 14 X Games gold medal in a tie there with Bob Burnquist, Jamie Beswick, Dave Mira, trying, or if he gets one more, I should say, he will tie Shaun White for all times X Games gold medals.
Bar spin to manual, double tire up onto the rail, opposite tail about. Love the way he makes his opposite tail ups look. I think I like his opposite tail ups better than I like his regular. Bar spin into that crank arm grind. This is where he had a little bit of trouble before. Jimmy's pedaling towards this. There he goes. He stops it this time, Jimmy, getting that downside tail up 180 out of the handrail. Now he's on a tear. There's that feeble to 360. 540 up and over the wedge.
Did you hear that reaction from the rest of the field?
Will that be enough to overtake Felix Prangenberg today? That was a solid run. So many elements in that run. Check him out. Pegs up, hard way 180, opposite tail whip, stomps it this time. We saw him have problems with that in his first run. Pulling the hard way 360 out of that feeble, and then 540 up and over this wedge. The ability to recover out of that 360, that hard way 360, and then get that 540. Unbelievable from Garrett Reynolds.
Okay, he was in that number 3 spot, and it's enough to overtake Felix Prangenberg. So he finds himself in the top spot here in round number 2. Garrett Reynolds doing it again, Chris, for now.
Yeah, for now. It's going to be interesting to see how Felix Prangenberg is going to respond to that. It's going to be interesting to see how Lewis Mills responds to that. Remember, he's on a different bike than what he's used to. If you notice, it looks a little bit small for him. Unfortunate, he can't keep that manual. He's waving it off already, Jimmy. Let the other riders have their time.
I mean, talk about that. I mean, how difficult that is to come into an event and try to ride other equipment.
It makes such a huge difference. You wouldn't believe how big of a difference just having your bars a little bit forward than usual, or having your seat a little higher than usual. Everything makes a huge difference. And to ride a bike that you're not used to in an X Games event, I mean, come on, that's extremely difficult.
Plus the mindset to have to go on that mad scramble to try to put something together. And that dips into your practice time as well. So that'll do it for round number 2 here, as Lewis Mills is the last guy in the run order. But we've seen several riders jump up here in round number 2. But at the end of 2 rounds, it's Garrett Reynolds sitting in that top spot for now. We'll see if anyone's able to answer back and take it away from him. We'll have the conclusion of BMX Street when we return. Welcome back to X Games 2022. We are inside the California training facility, set to kick off the conclusion here of the BMX Street Final. We have completed 2 rounds of runs thus far, and where we stand, it is Garrett Reynolds sitting in the top spot for right now. We talked about at the top of the show, he is chasing a record out here today. He is trying to tie Shaun White for all-time X Games gold medals. This is how he put himself in that top position for now. Chris Doyle.
Showing you that long toothpick grind, a bar spin out, bar spin into the crank arm grind down the green rail. Nice looking 540 over the wedge after he had to recover out of a hard way 360 out of a feeble. Just action packed from start to finish. He just crammed so much into his time on the course.
So he's in that spot for now. However, it is far from over. We still have 1 more round of runs to go. If you're just joining us here, it is the best run that counts here in the BMX Street Final. And we started off again the 3rd and final round with Jordan Godwin.
Jordan Godwin's another guy like Felix Prangenberg. He switches his feet a lot, so you have to really keep your eye on the subtleties of what he's doing. He's another guy that can go in both directions. He grinds on both sides of the bike and switches his feet around a lot. So these judges definitely have a handful when you're watching a guy like Jordan. He pulls that up, going for that 180. We saw him pull that in the 2nd round. And again, when he locks into that crooked grind, it's as if he pulls it up into an ice pick, but I almost think he does that just a spring load to get that 180 out. There's that crank arm grind yet again. just a pleasure to have Jordan out here because, again, he's a guy I only see on like social media or on YouTube and stuff. He puts out a lot of heavy-hitting edits, so awesome to have him out here for his first ever X Games appearance. Good showing from Jordan Godwin.
I was going to say, the next Games rookie, we'll be seeing more of him in the future. He'll have to settle for that 8th place position for now. We'll bring back in Justin Spreet here. Now, he had bumped up a couple of spots. He was in 7th earlier, and he bumped himself up to the number 5 spot in that last round. Again, the runs are 45 seconds in length. It's the best run that counts here. No scores here. It's just a live ranking. We are in the 3rd and final round of runs.
Yeah, and he loves starting off with that nice long tooth pit grind on that ledge right there. Check him out going up Smith 180 out. Bonking toothpick over. Check him out right here going back over toothpick. We've seen him do that a couple times right now. Solid turn down on the wedge right there, showing you the jumping elements because he is a dirt jumper. He is a trail rider. This guy can do it all. There's that no-footed can-can out of the double tire ride.
Likes to incorporate that trail and park background into his street spots, both the speed and trick selection. Coming down to the final couple of seconds here for Justin.
Showing you that nose to tooth hanger. Crank arm grind up and over. Peace out. Solid run from Mr. Justin Spreet. I don't know if that was a celebratory yell or if it was a yell of frustration, but that looked pretty good to me, Jimmy.
Take a look at some highlights here of his 3rd and final attempt. Again, he sits in that number 5 spot for now.
There's that over Smith to 180 out. Hadn't seen him do that yet today. Then that Smith up and over the rail, using both sides of the bike. Crank arm grind, clean as you like, stomping it out.
So he's going to stay in that number 5 position. So again, you got Garrett Reynolds, Felix Prangenberg, Devin Smiley, your 1, 2, 3, and then you got Chad Curley just outside that podium as of right now. So 2 riders down, 8 left to go here in the lineup. Got Matt Ray on course here. He currently finds himself in the midway point there, sitting in 6th place.
Oh my gosh, it almost looks like he gave up on that line a little too easy because that was crazy right there. Going up the rail pegs, opposite tail whip out. Bar spin on the ledge, nose bar.
Just waving it off right there.
Would have loved to have seen him complete that line that he started off with. Looked like he gave up on it a little bit too easy. I wish he had fought for it a little bit more because I think he could have had it, and that would have been one heck of a way to start a run. Wow.
So he will settle for that 6th place position here. You see the jam session clock is ticking down to just under a minute now. When that runs out, we do complete the run order here, so each rider is assured the same amount of runs here. So you get set to bring in Kevin Peraza here, sitting up there on the deck, having a little conversation with Chad Curley and our starter there. He's got the nod, so Kevin Peraza sitting in that number 7 spot for now.
Going up rail, big nosedive 360, and unfortunately comes out of it.
Flat spun that one out a little bit.
Opposite tail whip to flat. There's that nose press 360 that we've seen him and Chad Curley do. If I can go back on myself there. Showing you the manual. Pegs up, wanted more out of it, not going to get it. I definitely think his 2nd run was his best performance. Showing you the balance right there. Some flatland elements to his street run.
Just showing you some of that unique Kevin Peraza style right there.
And don't worry, we're going to see Kevin Peraza in park, a discipline in which I think he shines a little bit more, but showing huge nose press to 360 to flat. Wow. Just doing it for his colleagues up on the deck right now.
That was an impressive way to come back after that slip up right there, but that'll do it. It showed you. He's saying, hey, I'm going to do a flare too.
180 tail up out of that. Just out there having fun, big smile on his face as always. Looking forward to seeing what he's got for our park competition.
So now we move towards Mr. Brock Rayford. He was a BMX Street bronze medalist at X Games Austin in 2016. Got a silver 2021 in real BMX.
Oh, he's off and running. Pegs hard way to truck driver out. Tooth over, bonking on the other side of the bike. Brock's got a solid run going right now. Started off strong and keeping it going. Tooth hanger to bar out. Trying to shake things up a little bit here, Jimmy.
Yeah, he's down there in that number 9 spot here, putting it together in this third and final attempt. Down to the final 10 seconds here as of right now for Brock Rayford.
Eyes to go back up this rail to bar spin out. He went up opposite pegs to bar spin out. Checking out bar spin to 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗜𝗔𝗏.
And there you go with the third and final run.
See, that's how you ride when your back's against the wall and you need a solid run. You put it down the way that Brock Rayford did. Here we go, check him out. Going up, pegs, pulling out hard way, truck driver, 360 with the bar spin, stomping it. It's looked like he was chasing this run all day long. There's that bar into the crank arm grind. He was psyched. You can see it on his face. Bar spin to 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗜𝗍, pulling it around with the tail whip, stomping it clean.
And that one was right there at the buzzer too. So again, he was in 9th pre-run. No scores, it's just a live ranking here. We'll see, well, that is going to slide him into the mixer. So it'll get him all the way up into 4th, so close. That'll put him just outside of podium contention right there. But how about that final run there for Brock Rayford?
Check him out, here comes Felix Prangenberg. 360 tail whip out of the pegs hard way. There's this 360 to 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗍. Check him out going nose press. 360, pulling it around. Just got to keep it going, stay consistent, keep the tricks flowing. Pedal grind to 180 out, loving the opposite 180 look back. Now keep an eye on his cranks. He switches his pedals around a lot. He's normally right foot forward. As you can see right now, he's left foot forward. It's the subtleties, the little things that are going to set him apart to help put him above Garrett Reynolds. Check him out, that's left foot forward, toothpick grind. Opposite 360. I'm doing my best here. He's giving me a mouthful here. Check him out. Huge way to end it. That was absolutely incredible. The way he explodes out of that double peg grind to pull the 360 tail whip. Like I said before, it's like he's coming out of a quarter pipe. Pegs up, pulling hard away from that rail. The 360 tail whip, like he's a dirt jumper or something, Jimmy.
Another huge run there for Felix Prangenberg.
And I love this 360 to 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗍, nose press, pulling it around 360. Doing that in the middle of a run like that is so risky. Opposite 180 look back. There's that double peg up to one, hard way 180, pulling it around 540. Oh man, I'm so glad not to be a judge because the pressure they must be under right now.
I was going to say, pick your highlight reel on that run right there. Oh my goodness. So it's Reynolds, Prangenberg, and Smiley 1, 2, 3. So that is not going to be enough to overtake Garrett Reynolds. So he will stay in that silver medal position for now. So it's still Garrett Reynolds in that top spot, followed by Phoenix and Devin Smiley. Before we get to Chad Curley, let's check in once again with Victoria.
Guys, Chad Curley has had a crazy X Games journey. Last year, he fractured both of his ankles just a few weeks before X Games. He rode injured, where he finished 7th, and then he finished 6th in Chiba most recently. And he's one of the only people to ever beat Garrett Reynolds in BMX Street, and one of 2 to do it twice, in LA in 2013 and Minneapolis in 2018.
So he was knocking on the door of podium contention there. He finds himself in that number 5 spot here going into this third and final run here, Chris.
Well, Jimmy, he's got a solid run going so far. If he can just keep it rolling, showing you this nose wheelie, finally pulling that, hasn't gotten it in the first 2 runs. So he's on a tear right now. Showing the 540 down the steps. He's looking like he really wants to be on that podium right now. There's that double peg grind to manual. Crook it to 180. Looking really solid. Just a couple more seconds if he can hang on. Eyes on this last hit. Tail up to flat. Bobbles the pedals a little bit.
Keeps the feet off the concrete, though.
Yeah, wow. So good to see Chad Curley come in and put down a run that's very Chad Curley-esque. Lots of balance, lots of skill, lots of control. Let's check him out coming out of this manual. You see him go bar spin into the ice pick grind. Locking in. really solid. Huge 540 down the stairs. He was pretty solid from start to finish, looking like he wants to be on that podium, doing that crooked grind out of the manual to 180 out. This is where he ended. You know, he slipped the pedals a little bit. It's at the end of the run. He was tired. Gonna have to see how the judges penalize that.
Yeah, again, he was 2 spots out. We'll see. We will see where this ranks him overall.
Same shit.
And it looks like that's going to keep him in that number 5 spot. But also congratulations to him and his wife, Natalie, welcoming the new addition to their family back in March of this year, their son, Kai. As we bring in 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗜𝗓𝗏, currently sitting in a bronze medal position right now.
𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗓𝗏 starting things off the same way that we've seen him started off in the past. But let's see if he changes things up a little bit. I mean, the worst he's going to do right now is a bronze medal. So I would love to see him change things up a little bit, have a little bit of fun out there, but he's just always so controlled.
So again, it's Garrett Reynolds who's due up next, sitting in that top spot, followed by 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗓𝗏. 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗓𝗏, as you mentioned, in bronze contention for right now. Just can't hang on to that one there in the final 14 seconds.
And we saw him do that previously, where he manuals the top of the deck, drops into the quarter pipe, keeps that manual going, pops into that Smith grind to bar out, but just couldn't hang on to it for this one. Look at this! That was like a best trick right there. That was went up rail hard way 180 to manual out and then reverted it around. Wow. Would have been awesome if he had a stacked run before that, but awesome to see him do that for the fans on the deck right there.
So with our final 2 riders here, Garrett Reynolds, your current leader.
Well, Garrett goes a little bit off his line. His feet didn't touch the ground, but let's see what he's got. There's that bar spin to manual. Double tire up, downside, tail whip 180 out of a double tire ride up the rail. Looks like he's gonna call it with that. 1 rider.
That leaves Lewis Mills left to go, who's down there in that number 10 spot. So he is the last rider to go here, the last one that can shake up your standings here. Again, Garrett sitting in that top spot, followed by 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗓𝗏 and 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗓𝗏. Lewis coming off of a win there in Chiba, Japan.
Well,
and it all comes down to this final. And we got to tell the story again. I mean,
can he pull
on
the
different
upset?
equipment?
Yeah, on different equipment, riding a different bike. The bike noticeably looks a little bit small for him. Showing that crank arm grind to manual, and he just has to bail out. And that looks like it's going to be a gold medal for Mr. Garrett Reynolds.
That means he keeps the streak alive. That's 17 medals and 17 appearances in BMX Street Final. And now he owns 15 gold medals, and that now officially ties him with Shaun White. Which that record, by the way, has held up since 2013.
Now let's take a look at what put Garrett on the top of the podium. Let's see what puts that gold medal around his neck. I would love to get a look at his winning run. Gold medal performance right here. There's that nice long toothpick grind, bar spin out. Easy for Garrett. Bar spin into this crank arm grind down the green rail. Check him out right here. 180 downside tailed out of that double peg grind. Let me show you the 540. Smooth all day long with the difficult tricks. This is Garrett Reynolds.
Yet another amazing performance out of Garrett Reynolds, and again, tying another X Games record. So right now, let's send it down to Victoria Arlen, who's with our winner.
Garrett Reynolds, you just tied Shaun White for most X Games gold medals, as well as became the most decorated or most gold medals for a BMX rider. How good does that feel right now?
It feels amazing. I can't believe my name's mentioned with someone this that amazing.
Now, you have medaled in every event that you've competed in. What's the secret sauce?
I just love riding my bike. It's what I enjoy, and I just try not to think about the contest. I just try to think of it as any other day.
Now you're solidifying your legendary status. What do you have to say to young riders out there looking up to you?
Just keep grinding. I was never had any natural ability with riding. I just loved it, and eventually you can start to get comfortable with it.
You get comfortable with gold, too. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And again, going back to what we were talking about earlier, he's so humble.